Hello everyone. I just wanted to jump on quickly to be a word of encouragement, simply because most of the times that you feel low or feel like man is one thing after the other is usually the time that you give. Because when you give, you feel so much better. When you give, you end up hearing that you're not by yourself. You end up being comforted to know by others that you are not alone, right? But another thing that kept me in this little bit of time as of recently is the scripture that says in James 1 verses 2 to 4. The main part that I wanted to share is the fact that it says, consider the trials that you go through and count them as joy. And it's like, wow, you hear this, maybe you've heard this verse or this scripture before. And then it goes on to tell you that, you count it as joy, and it produces faith, and faith that will, keep you to persevere until you mature, and then you will end up being developed and lack nothing, right? And that sounds amazing, and we quote it and we hear it. But if we really understand just that first part, it says consider. Consider simply means to think again before you make a decision, right? Consider. And then the other piece says consider the trials, right? And a lot of people would be like, well, you don't know what's going on in my life, so your trials are not mine. And I'm not minimizing anyone's trials, but think of the word trials. Truly, the word trials means a test to prove your quality, to prove your productivity. That's really what a trial is. The trial isn't the issue only. The trial is the fact that you will gain something in going through this thing, right? And so I don't know if it's a revelation to you, but man, if you are watching, it's for you. Why? I want you to simply think of it now as the definition. Instead of saying consider, someone would tell you, the verse would tell you, think about those things that you're going through. Think about those things you're going through, right? Think about those things, because they are only the things that are there to develop you and to prove forward that you have the faith to withstand. That's truly what it's saying. It's saying consider those things before you say, girl, you don't understand how it feels to lose loved ones. Guys, I'm going on losing 3 people in a matter of 2 weeks, right? Doesn't have to be necessarily a losing of people. It can be people that are going through divorce, people that are going through hardships with families, people that are going through, upsets with their workplaces, situations that happen with your money and your finances. Like, all those things could be trials for you. And I'm not negating them at all, but I simply want you to consider the trial. Truly consider before you make a decision and say this is the worst that it's ever been. I want you to take a moment and say, man, this has to be a trial, because there has to be something that comes from this. There has to be something that proves from this, as I have learned, I have gained. And as the verse continues in verse 3, it says that you would mature and develop. My goodness, if only we would think and consider that the things that we're going through is for the purpose to develop us and for the purpose to mature us to the point where we lack nothing. I promise you today, guys, I know this is only just a quick little 4-minute video, but I promise you, if you stand on the word of considering the fact that what you're going through is not only for you to go through, but other people are going through it. And remember that there is a positive note to it. And no matter how dark it is, no matter how many people you lost, no matter how hard it is to pay your bill, no matter how hard it is to be in that relationship, no matter how hard it is to function with your home and your kids and your finances, no matter how hard it is, consider, rethink it, reconsider the fact that those trials are what is supposed to be what cause and count joy. How could that count joy? You would ask, how? How the heck is this joyful? Like, you don't understand what's going on. Listen, joy is not a feeling. Joy is not an emotion like happiness that comes and goes and is fickle. Joy is what gives you the strength. Joy is that thing that's inside of you that says, you know what? I'm going to consider this trial and know that I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to grow from it. I'm going to mature and develop in this. And I will never see things the same way I see them now. That is what reconsidering does for you. I want you to reconsider today. Reconsider those things that are trials, and know and remember that they are there to simply grow you. They are there to simply develop you. They are there to be the testing point to the quality and the productivity that you will show forth as you move forward in it. I know you can do it because I'm doing it. This is just a regular old day, stopping to smell the roses, the flowers, right? In the hardship of everything going on, trust and believe that there is something more. Reconsider. Before you start claiming those things that aren't so, before you start claiming those negative things, even if they are negative right now, I dare you to reconsider. Just like this flower that's behind me, I think of it as there's a time to bud, there's a time to bloom, and there's a time to blossom. Sometimes we feel so in a bud stage where no one can see it. It's so dark, it's so hard, it's so this, it's so that. But trust me, reconsider it. Reconsider that your second result will be something that you've learned, something that you have grown, and something that has matured you, that you will no longer be like you were yesterday, and you will end, like that verse says, lacking nothing. Peace to you all. God bless. Bye.